Hello and welcome to yoga. I hope that you are having a wonderful day so far, and I also hope that together we can make it even better with a nice sweaty practice together. We are going to, as usual, begin on our backs so you can start to get comfortable on your mat. Something that, I don't talk about this all the time, but just know that this is something that's always available to you. If you own a block or a couch cushion or a pillow or a rolled up towel or something like that, and you want to begin your practice with a supported back bend, that looks like this. And it is a great way to kind of passively begin your practice with a little feel-good chest opener. And so I have a yoga block here, nothing fancy. It's just a foam block that I lay down flat underneath my upper back. So I'm going to center this basically on my shoulder blades so that my shoulders can roll toward the earth and create a little bit of a back bend for myself. And so if you will be practicing with me for any length of time on YouTube, I recommend that you maybe acquire one of these yoga blocks or some sort of bolster or something that can allow you to spend some time in this passive back bend. So if you would like to experience that at the beginning of your practice, then please go ahead and give that a try. And also know that that is always available to you at the beginning of a practice. We usually spend some time getting comfortable and quiet and creating some stillness as a transition point into our practice. And so those transition points are a great time to practice this passive back bend and get a nice stretch across the shoulders, the front of the chest, and also get some upward pressure on the shoulder blades, which is a great way to counteract all the terrible posture that we find ourselves in on a regular basis. And so I'm going to stay over here for now because I'm here now, so I might as well stay. So get comfortable, whether that's on your back, in a seated position, in a back bend, whatever the case may be, and just pause for a moment. Find yourself in stillness to the degree that you can. Quiet your fingers, quiet your toes, quiet the movement of your throat, the movement of your facial muscles. Become aware of all the little minutiae that is always kind of running around you and within you. And experience the quiet for just a moment. And if it's comfortable for you, close your eyes. And in your mind's eye, picture a horizon. It can be any kind of horizon. It doesn't really matter what kind of horizon. But the experience of visualizing a horizon, whether it's woodlands or an ocean or grassland or a very mountainous area with a river cutting through it. The experience of visualizing that horizon causes you to embrace a sense of timelessness. And that is what we want to experience on the mat, is a notion of possibility and a notion of both focus and also relaxation. Focus and relaxation. It's hard to achieve, but the idea here is that you are paying attention while also relaxing into that space and in that moment. And I think a great way to do that is to visualize a horizon, a landscape of some sort. And so if you would, picture that horizon. And once you've got the horizon and once you've got kind of the climate, start to populate it with detail. What do the clouds look like? Or are there clouds? What does the sky look like? What time of day is it? What does the light look like? Can you see the sun, or is the sun somewhere behind you? Can you see the moon, or is it a starry night? Picture the clouds. Picture the sky. And now below that horizon line, picture the earth, the land that leads to that horizon line. What's on the earth? What do you see? And you might even notice as you're picturing this, you might notice that your eyes even move in their sockets as you picture what you see in front of you. And there's something kind of cool about that. It's as though your eyes are seeing what your mind's eye is seeing. And as your eyes move around this horizon, this long horizon with ever-increasing detail, continue to add little details to it as you're looking. And perhaps you notice that what you are looking at changes as you continue to see and as you continue to notice more detail. Maybe the light changes. Maybe there's movement in the landscape. And I think this is a really beautiful picture of the fact that just like in your body, just like your joints and muscles can be quieted and calmed, and just as your ability to move from one point to the other can be paused for a moment, there is still always movement. Just as that horizon you are looking at and the landscape around it, above and beneath it, the atmosphere, there's always movement, there's always life, there's always a rustle of grass, the movement of water, perhaps a subtle movement of the clouds overhead. And just for the next few breaths, stay with that visualization. Keep your eyes on that horizon as you breathe. And if you're ready, on your back, if you were using the block for a back bend, then go ahead and lift your body weight off the block and just set it off to the side for now. We may come back to that later. But just lie down on your back for a moment. Maybe bend your knees, maybe keep them straight. Maybe rest your hands on your belly. And now, rather than letting your gaze go to that horizon, instead turn your gaze inward and notice how you're feeling today. Notice the breath moving through your body. Notice the sensations and the perceptions. And then on the next inhale, if you would, reach the arms toward the wall behind you. Point the toes toward the front. Take a deep breath and a full body stretch. And on the exhale, roll over to the right side and press the earth away and make your way back up to a seated position just for a moment. We're going to start our moving practice here. So rest your hands on your knees, and then with some nice organic movement, start to draw your sternum forward and then relax it toward the wall behind you. So forward, backward, it's kind of like a seated cat-cow. And since I mentioned cat-cow, we might as well incorporate our breath with this. So inhale as you draw the sternum forward. Exhale as you round the spine. Inhale for that cat stretch. Exhale to round the spine. And now start to also add your head and neck into this. So as you inhale, gaze goes up, drop your head back. And as you exhale, let the chin fall to the chest. Forward, backward, flexion of the spine. Take it away on your own time, on your own pace, with your own breath. All right, and now instead of just forward, backward, if it's comfortable for you, you might start to also incorporate some rounded movements here. So maybe swing to the left, swing to the right. You might make a U shape with your rib cage, or you might just slide it right to left if that's fun, or you might make big circles, figure eights. Honestly, there is no wrong thing to do here. And so just maybe start to explore that full range of motion. And by the way, you don't even have to keep your hands on your knees. If you want to support yourself with your hands, or maybe you can walk your hands in big circles around your body and you can support yourself into some sweeping movement here. Just explore some organic movement in this seated position. I feel like sometimes when we're engaging with yoga postures, because there's frequently a right way to do things, we can sometimes feel paralyzed when we have the opportunity to do things organically, more free-flowing. But the truth is, something that I've noticed from having practiced yoga for many years, is that a lot of times what I as a teacher am doing, and what many other yoga teachers are doing, is not necessarily making cues so that you do everything perfectly, but so that you pay attention to what you're doing, right? And so it's not, the cues that I am sharing with you aren't even necessarily only the right way to do it. It's just to bring your attention to the minute details of what it is that you are doing. All right, and so your yoga practice, generally speaking, if it feels good in your body and you know your joints and muscles, you know what feels stable, what feels safe. If it feels stable and safe and perhaps a little bit challenging, depending on the day, then you're doing it right, right? And there's truly, the longer you practice, the more you will discover that innate wisdom that lies within your joints and muscles, and that is truly a great thing to start to learn and cultivate. Bring the legs around behind you. Come on into tabletop. All right, curl the toes underneath your heels. Shift your body weight back into your feet. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, straighten the legs, lift the hips, take it back to downward facing dog. So your first downward facing dog of the day, pedal the feet, right, left, right, left. If your feet have been cooped up in shoes, then sometimes it's just really nice to explore all sorts of range of motion with your feet. All right, let's build some heat by taking it forward and backward into plank on the inhale, downward facing dog on the exhale. Take it away on your own breath. Last time, inhale to plank. And let's stabilize into a side plank. And so shift your body weight onto your left arm and reach the right fingertips toward the sky. And now bring it right back to center, and we're going to stabilize into a right side plank. Place the right hand beneath the shoulder, reach the left fingertips toward the sky. Let's go back and forth from side to side plank 2 more times. So here we are in a left side plank, and then back to a high plank, into a right side plank. Stabilize, press the palm into the earth, back to a high plank, back to a left side plank, and high plank, and then very last time into that right side plank. High plank, and now lower the knees to the earth, take it back to child's pose, just for a few breaths. This is your opportunity to take the body weight off the shoulders here for a moment. Relax the elbows, relax the wrists, relax the palms, relax the upper arms, the shoulders. And while you're just hanging out here in child's pose, you might pick the hands up off the mat and take a few little wrist rolls here. So just some forward, backward flexion of the wrists, Roll out the wrists, the hands. Maybe make some fists and articulate the fingers. Warm up all those little joints and muscles in your hands and fingers. All right, back to downward facing dog on the next exhale. Let's take it through a few sun salutations to warm up the muscles. Glance up at the hands, walk the feet forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center. Right into that inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Hands to the earth on the exhale to lower. Cobra, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. 2 breaths in downward facing dog. Glance up at the hands, walk, step or float your feet, top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's take it through 2 more full sun salutations, beginning and ending from standing here at the top of the mat. I am going to be silent and just allow my breath to cue what perhaps might be the same movement for you, but if you want to move and breathe faster than me, or if you want to move and breathe slower, then that means that I won't be distracting you with my words, okay? So I'm just going to breathe through 2 full sun salutations, and we will meet back here standing at the end of the second. Here we go. And so here we are back up at the top of the mat, back to standing. And perhaps for a moment, if you can maintain your balance, you might close your eyes. You might picture that horizon again. Notice even more detail. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Take it through a flow. All right, we're going to focus on our right side for a moment. So we're going to inhale, lift the right leg. And then on the exhale, bring that knee wide outside the right elbow, so kind of in a Spider-Man push-up. Now inhale, lift the right leg again. Exhale, same Spider-Man push-up. Tap your knee to your elbow. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, third time, same thing. Inhale, lift the right leg. And exhale, step it through next to the right thumb. Inhale, Crescent Lunge. Warrior 2 on the exhale. Flip the right palm up. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior. Gaze goes up. Inhale, back to warrior 2. Exhale, circle the hands. Step it back to plank. Take it through a flow. Left side, inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, knee taps the elbow. Inhale, lift it high. Exhale, tap the elbow. Third time, lift it high. Exhale, tap the elbow. Inhale, lift it high. Step it through on the exhale. Crescent lunge on the inhale, find your balance. Warrior 2 on the exhale. Flip the left palm up, inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse warrior, gaze goes up. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, circle the hands, take it through a flow. All right, lower the knees to the earth, coming into tabletop, and just pick up the right foot and step it outside the right pinky. Some little knee circles here. Nice deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. Complete inhales, complete exhales. All right, so still with that right foot forward and the right knee by the shoulder, we're going to take some little trunk rotations here. So inhale, reach the right fingertips up toward the sky, rotate from the waist. Exhale, right hand back to the mat beneath the shoulder. Let's try that again. Inhale, open it up, reach the right fingertips toward the sky. Exhale, right back down to the mat. Okay, you can keep doing exactly this range of motion, or if you want to try tapping your elbow to the earth next, let's do that. Inhale, reach the right fingertips up. Exhale, hand or elbow touches the earth, sinking into that right hip, right inner thigh. Inhale, right fingertips to the sky. Exhale, tap the elbow to the earth. Again, inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Exhale. Very nice. Just take it right back to tabletop. We're just going to do the same thing on the other side. Step the left foot forward and start with some little knee circles here, warming that left hip, left inner thigh. Take any organic movements here that feel really nice. Let's start to open up our trunk with this twist on the left side. So keeping the right hand where it is, inhale, reach the left fingertips up. Exhale, back down to the earth. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, back down to the earth. And by the way, every time you bring it back to earth, I want you to reestablish your shoulders over your wrists. And so you're bringing your trunk back to neutral so that when you inhale, you're really taking it through a full range of motion and then bring it on back to neutral. All right, and so if you want to keep using the hand on the mat, then that's great. Or if you want to try to deepen the twist by tapping your elbow to the earth, that's great too. Move with your breath. Very nice. Last time. And then take it back to tabletop. Press the palms to the earth, curl the toes under. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, take it back to downward facing dog. All right, while you're looking back at your feet, step your feet pretty wide and walk your hands back towards your feet, coming into a wide leg fold. And now keep the heels on the earth and sink into a nice low and wide squat. And so we've already started to warm up our squat by that lunge that we just did with one knee forward and then the other knee forward. And now we're basically just doing the same thing, but with both legs, right? A lunge is just half of a squat. And so keep the heel on the earth and maybe introduce some little movement here. You can rock back and forth from foot to foot. Breathe into your inner thighs here. All right, so a little challenge here for the upper back. Can you keep the heels on the earth, and can you reach both arms toward the sky? Elbows are straight, palms facing each other. Find as much lift as you possibly can in the shoulders, right? And so your hands are facing each other, and now see if you can just draw your sternum toward the front of the room. Get your chest even higher, more elevated, and imagine that there's a force field right in front of your face. And the idea here is that you want to bring your arms back behind the force field. Whew, take an inhale and release. Hands to the earth, straighten the legs. I don't know about you, but that just lights up my upper back. All right, walk it forward to plank. Take it through a flow. Glance up at the hands, walk, step or float your feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, step sideways on your mat. Step your feet pretty wide. We're going to work on some side to side, just some lateral flexibility, some inner thigh flexibility. So again, we've been doing some organic movement here. And so just start by bending the knees to the right, to the left, just kind of working your way into this side to side flexibility. So your feet are parallel with each other. Bend the knee over the middle of the foot. And so your feet are actually going to be turned out slightly. So it's like a super duper wide squat stance. Okay, and now as you're kind of getting comfortable with these knee bends, these little side lunges, I guess you could call these, maybe start to deepen it. And so as you keep the hips low now, your hands are on the earth, and you're just rocking side to side in this little Cossack squat, I think is what this is called. And then as you get comfortable in this, with the opposite leg, right? And so you're going into a squat with one leg, and then the other leg is straight. You might try rolling the toes toward the sky, and then go to the other side, roll the toes toward the sky, and just flow back and forth from right to left here. You don't have to, by the way, you don't have to be all the way down on the ground. You can still be standing. You can be using the floor for support, right? So just find this organic side-to-side movement here, stretching into your inner thighs. And I think that's enough for now. So go ahead and come back up to standing and bring it back to the top of your mat. Very nice. That was a good intro to that wide leg stretch. We might do a little more of that later. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Take it through a flow. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, knee to elbow, Spider-Man plank. Inhale, lift the right leg. Again, knee to elbow. Third time, lift the leg. Exhale, knee to elbow. Last time, lift the leg. And step it through on the exhale. Crescent lunge on the inhale. Warrior two on the exhale. Straighten the right front leg. Reach the right fingertips forward. And on the exhale, triangle pose. Not going to hang out here for super long. Breathe into that right leg. Lengthen the tailbone back behind you. All right, fire up the core. Inhale to reverse your triangle. Right fingertips to the sky. Bend that front knee as you circle the hands to the earth. Pause. Plant your left hand beneath the left shoulder. Inhale, reach the right fingertips to the sky. All right, so this should be pretty familiar. We've already done this once before. A revolved crescent, revolved side angle. But now the back knee is lifted. You always have the option to lower the back knee. All right, we're going to transition here into a side plank because your left hand is beneath the left shoulder. So fire up the core, step it back to a side plank, and pause for a moment here. Take an inhale. Exhale, circle the hands to the earth. Take it through a flow. Left side, inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale. Last time, knee to elbow. Inhale. Step it through. Crescent lunge on the next inhale. Warrior two on the exhale. Straighten the left front leg. Reach the left fingertips forward toward the front. Triangle pose on the exhale. Slide the tailbone toward the wall behind you. The upper body is parallel with the earth. Sink into that inner thigh. On the next inhale, reverse triangle. Rebend that front knee, circle the hands to the earth. Plant the right hand beneath the right shoulder. Inhale, revolve side angle. All right, so again, you know where this is going. Your right hand is beneath the right shoulder. And so establish that foundation with your right hand into this side plank. Remember to breathe. Take an inhale. On the exhale, circle the hand to the earth. Take it through a flow. And pause for a few breaths. You could either take downward facing dog or child's pose, or I like to catch my breath with a kneeling resting pose. It's a great way to just take some body weight off the shoulders for a moment and to practice this hip and ankle and knee mobility. So whatever your resting pose is, just for a moment. Notice the stillness and the movement. As is always the case with you and that horizon you visualized, there is always this balance of stillness and movement. Action and rest. And sometimes something that looks like it's not moving at all, upon closer inspection, is actually a flurry of activity. All right, take it from downward facing dog or child's pose. Let's actually all meet in downward facing dog. Glance up at the hands, walk your feet forward to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to stand, sweep the arms. Exhale, hands to heart center. All right, step your feet pretty wide, so it doesn't need to be a full wide leg fold, but wider than hip distance apart. Interlace the hands behind the back. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, hinge at the hips and draw the arms overhead in this nice shoulder stretch here. Nod your head yes, shake your head no. All right, bring the hands back to the low back. Press all the way back up to standing. Unclasp the hands. Okay, so for our balancing pose, we're going to try something a little bit new and different. It might be new and different. It's kind of new and different to me. We are going to work a little bit on a pistol squat, and that is, it's not like technically a yoga pose, but there's many things that wind up in yoga practices that aren't like part of the yoga tradition. And so, you know, it's a bodyweight movement and it requires flexibility and balance and strength, and that makes it yoga in my book. So, you have already warmed up many of the component parts required for a pistol squat, and that is ankle mobility and hip mobility. And so go ahead and let's together get a few more squats here. So step your feet pretty wide, heels on the earth, bend the knees, drive the knees nice and wide as you lower your hips below the level of the knees. Okay, so while we're hanging out here at the bottom of the full depth squat, let's talk a little bit about a pistol squat. A pistol squat is a single leg squat, right? And so a pistol squat does require strength, but the truth is you probably already have the strength to do it. Your legs are very strong. And so the reality is that much of the challenge of a pistol squat generally lies in mobility, flexibility of the ankles and the hip, and also just balance, right? And the good news is that balance improves every time you practice, and mobility improves by increments every time you practice, right? And so those are two things that we're going to work on in the context of the pistol squat. And so stand all the way up if you would. And we're going to start with just basically a quarter pistol squat just to get started with. So shift all of your body weight to your left leg, and then pick up your right knee. And then it's up to you. You can just grab hold of the right knee with both hands, or if you want to try grabbing hold of your foot with your right hand, and then you can just maybe kick it forward, but you don't have to be able to straighten up the leg. The idea here is that it's more about balance. And so any way you stabilize that right knee is totally up to you. So I'm going to choose to grab hold of my foot and just keep my knee in this external rotation here as I have my left arm free out here for balance, and then I'm going to take it into a half squat, all right? And so I'm just lowering to about half the depth of a regular squat. So I'm bending my knee in the direction of my toes. Now I'm going to come back to standing. Do this with me. Bend your knee in the direction of your toes, and now come back to standing. Let's do one more. Bend the knee so the tailbone goes back behind you. Look at one point on the floor. Come back to standing. Nice. Set your foot down. Shake out your leg. All right, we're just going to do that same thing on the other side. So this is just kind of preparing your muscles and preparing that range of motion for you to move in a balanced way. All right, shift all of your body weight to your right leg. Same concept. You can grab hold of your knee. You can grab hold of your foot. Establish your balance. I didn't say this on the other side, but do keep the heel down, right? Resist the urge to come up on the ball of your foot. That would be very counterproductive. All right, let's try 3 of these little half pistol squats. Bend the knee. Maintain your balance. You're bending the knee in the direction of your toes. Whoops. Press back up to standing. I have a wall next to me that helps me stabilize, but you know, you might grab a piece of furniture. All right, number 2, and then come back up to standing, and then let's do the third one, and then come back up to standing. Very nice. Shake the standing leg out. All right. We're going to try an unassisted pistol squat, and then we're going to try maybe a couple little modifications that if an unassisted pistol squat is not in the cards for you today, then one of these modifications might it might mimic the movement, the experience of it. Okay, so shift all of your body weight back to the left foot, pick up the right leg, and then again, just as is the case with all balancing poses, find one point on the floor that's not moving. use your free arm for balance. And then with control, lower until perhaps you're in a pistol squat, and then stand back up. All right, and if you did it, hooray, hooray, let's do it again. Lower into that pistol squat, keep the heel down, and stand all the way up. And anything worth doing twice is worth doing 3 times. Let's do it again. Okay. Let's do it on the other side now. Shift all of your body weight to your right leg. Bring the left knee up in line with the hip. Okay, so you kind of have an understanding of what is necessary for the pistol squat. Ankle mobility. Focus on one point that's not moving. Strength to come back up out of the bottom of that squat. Let's do one together. I find that grabbing hold of my foot helps counterbalance into the squat, because if I grab hold of my foot, then it forces my upper body and my center of gravity forward. You probably figured that out too. All right, come on back to the top of the mat. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Take it through a flow. All right, lower the knees to the earth. And we're going to focus just for a moment on the ankle mobility that is required for a pistol squat. And so what you're going to do is you're going to bring your right foot forward, plant your foot on the earth, and then with your knee pointing in the direction of your toes, lean your chest onto your quadricep and just relax here for a moment. You should feel a stretching in your Achilles and in your calf muscle, right? And so that is the ankle flexibility that is required to drop into the bottom of a full depth pistol squat. And I'll go ahead and back up out of it. Just go right into it on the other side. Plant your whole foot on the floor. Situate your balance. Bend your knee in the direction of your toes. You don't want it to collapse inward or outward. And as you lean your chest and situate your center of gravity over your knee, you are lengthening and stretching those muscles down the back of your lower leg. All right, very nice. Okay, so you can use a block to kind of help yourself into a pistol squat. So if you have a block, or if you have a chair or a couch, like a low couch nearby, that can help you greatly on this journey. I'm going to start with 2 blocks actually. Yeah, so I have 2 blocks. And the idea here, again, go ahead and come back up to standing. The idea here is that I am going to try to squat to the block, and hopefully the elevated nature of the block is going to stop me and help me stand back up. So shift all of your body weight to your left foot, pick up your right foot, establish your foundation on that standing leg, establish your gaze somewhere out in front of you. Take an inhale. And lower into your pistol squat, and then back up. Let's do 2 more. So the nice thing about having that target to sit down to is that I don't have to worry about keeping my balance at the bottom of that squat. I can settle onto the blocks, and then when I'm ready to stand back up, I can just stand right back up from that seated position. Shift your body weight to your right foot. Establish your foundation on that standing leg. Pick a point somewhere out in front of you that's not moving. Take an inhale. And just give it a try. Third time. And then relax. So the thing about trying something particularly challenging is allowing yourself to believe that this doesn't have to be like every other moment before it, right? Even if you have not been successful in some of your attempts, the temptation to assume that this moment is going to be like every other moment before it is a cognitive distortion. And it's tempting to just check the box and say, well, this is going to be a negative experience just because I've had a number of negative experiences here. But if that were always true, we would never learn anything new, and we would never succeed at things that we try. And we know that that's not true. We know that it is possible to learn, it's possible to grow, it's possible to get better at the things that we're not good at. In fact, I have a news flash for you. You're always bad at something before you're good at it. So, the same is true of many of these poses here on the mat. Okay. Let's move to some floor stretching, shall we? So have a seat. Have your right leg out straight, left is bent. Inhale, arms overhead. Square the shoulders over the right leg, and on the exhale, fold forward and down over the right leg. All right, now slowly come back to seated, and before you switch legs, let's do the second stretch. When we do floor stretching, we've been doing this a lot lately because it feels really great afterward. So instead of squaring your shoulders over the right leg, square them over the left leg, and then let's take this nice long side stretch. Reach for the sky, gaze goes up. You would think that with all the side stretching I've been doing lately, that I would be more flexible in my side waist, but maybe it takes some time. And slowly come back up to seated. Switch legs. Left leg is straight, right is bent. Inhale, arms overhead. Square the shoulders over the left leg, and exhale, fold forward and down over the left leg. All right, come on back up to seated, and now we switch sides. So turn toward the right knee, and then reach up and over, nice long side stretch. On the other side, I did this, and if you want, you can do this with me, finding the wrap around the backside waist. It kind of just removes the shoulder from the situation and at the same time adds a shoulder stretch. And so it stretches the front of the shoulder, but it means that I don't have to keep my arm up overhead. So trade-offs. All right, let's press back up to seated. Relax the legs out in front of you and make your way into your final resting pose, whatever that looks like for you. Relax your hands, relax your feet. Relax your wrists, your ankles, your shoulders, your hips. And perhaps you go back to that horizon. Perhaps you go back to that expansive, endless view that you visualized earlier. Or perhaps you just let the slate wipe clean. Regardless, just find stillness. Find the opportunity to rest. Shavasana. slowly begin to reawaken the body. Wiggle the fingers, the toes, roll out the wrists, the ankles. Reach the arms overhead toward the back. Point the toes toward the front. Take a deep breath and a full body stretch from fingers to toes and everything in between. And then on the exhale, roll over to the right side. And when you are ready, press the earth away. Make your way back up to a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. Close your eyes. Lightly rest your hands on your knees. On the next inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, pull that breath to heart center. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice. Have a beautiful day. Namaste. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your day.